Hello, my name is Kees ten Hollander, Technical Service Lead Europe for Awlfair Yacht Coatings. Today we would like to take you on a virtual tour for the application equipment of our Awlfair Spray Filler, or Awlfair SF. In order to power the machine, we need a 450 volt power supply with 5 cores, 3 phases at 63 amps. In order to power the container with air, we need a compressor which is able to deliver 7 cubic meters of air per minute at 8 bar. The hose, ideally we would need a 33 millimeter bore hose, and the absolute minimum is a 25 millimeter bore hose. So, over here we got the 2 feed drums. This ram and this ram is pressurized. There's a plate inside the drum which will push the product down, and these pumps will suck the product out in order to transfer it to the conditioning tanks which are placed at the other side of the machine. Conditioning tanks are placed at the other side of the machine. So we got them here. 1 and 2. These are basically very large pressure pots, so to say. At the other side of the machine we had the ram plates which were transferring cold product into these tanks. In these tanks it will be heated to 60 degrees, and there's also a stirring mechanism in it which will stir the product. One other special element of the spray filler machine is the heating elements, the so-called superheaters. Over here we have the heaters which will warm up the product in the conditioning tanks. Over here we have the heater which will warm up the lines in the fluid bundle. And over here we have the heater that will heat the conditioning tanks itself. In the middle of the 2 big pumps that pump the product, we also have an additional smaller pump which can work completely independently from the other system. This is basically sucking solvent, the GTA 803 from International Bank, to the lines in order to flush the system after the mixing block. This pump is running independently and can be connected to a separate compressor in order to ensure that you always are able to flush the system. The fluid is being warmed up to 60 degrees. When it's warmed up to 60 degrees, it will be pumped through the lines, all the way through the complete fluid bundle, to the mixing block, into a return line, back in the fluid bundle and back to the pump. And this will enable you to completely warm up the fluid bundle. So when the machine is in spray mode, the product will be sent through the fluid bundle to the mixing block. And up until here, the product is still in an unmixed condition. It's basically here where the 2 products meet. When they meet here, they will be forced through the lines and sent through a spiral mixer. This is a stainless steel spiral mixer. So when the product went through the spiral mixer, it will be sent through the last width end to the spray gun. And this is basically just a regular airless spray gun. So, in order to turn on the spray filler application equipment, we first start with giving it some electrical power. Now that's turned on, it means also that the computer will be starting up. Adding to that, this container comes equipped with LED lighting. Turn that on for better view as well. Then we have the tank heaters, so these are the heating elements for the conditioning pot. When that is done, we go on to the air. And the air is located beneath the computer. Over here we have the main air control for this side of the container. We turn it on. And then we go to air for the pumps, which is located here. system is now pressurized. Over here we can see the control panel with which we control the complete spray filler machine. As you can see, it comes with a lock. So after the first installment, where we adjust all the settings, you can lock it, take the key out, and no one can touch the settings. So the settings are secured. Adding to that, there is a USB flash drive connection. When you put the flash drive in, you can download all the data that the machine captured during the application process. This includes possible fault codes, the amount of product used, spraying time, temperatures, and so on. Adding to that, there are a few operation screens inside the control panel. Over here, we are looking at the amount of product which is in the conditioning tanks. You can see that here and here. But also the temperatures that are being used, because the product is being warmed up to 60 degrees. The different heating controls and the autofill button. We go to the next screen, we can see the basic operation modes of the machine. Over here we have spray mode. Here we got the controls for the pumps, which we use to recirculate the product or pump the product independently out for installment. Over here we see the park mode. And this is actually one of the most important screens. This screen, this operation mode, allows you to control the settings which are in the machine. So over here we got a line check. It let the machine pressurize the lines in order to see if there are any leakage. And here we can do a dosing check to ensure you're still using the right mixing ratio. So over here we have the operation mode in order to do a few simple checks, like a line check or a dosing check. The line check, in that mode the machine will basically pressurize itself in order to see if there is any leakage in the lines. Secondly, there is a dosing check, but the dosing check can also be used in order to manually pump out some product which you can use for hand application. Underneath the software controls, we can see the main operating valves for air. This valve allows air to be sent through the main pumps. This is the valve in order to regulate pump B a bit more, because the viscosity of product B is a bit higher. And this section allows you to control the air to the flush pump, the small independent pump. Well, over here we got the two main pumps. These are airless pumps. These pumps will pump the product out of the conditioning tank. And for the operation mode you've set it in, it can be used for recirculation of the product in order to warm up sooner, or in order to put the machine in spray mode. It will pump the product out of the conditioning tank, feed it to the mixing block, put it through the mixing block after spiral mixer, and then it's ready to spray. Now the fluid bundle has had some time in order to settle on its temperature. We move on to the heating elements for the product itself. As component B is the one with the highest viscosity, I always start with that one. Heating element is started and it's set at 65 degrees. Giving it a little bit of time in order not to consume all the power from your power supply directly. And then we initiate A. Now that the heating elements are set, we move on to the next step, which is recirculation, in order to warm up more quicker. The heating elements are running, which basically means that we can allow the product to be recirculated through its pumps in order to heat up more quickly. In the main operation screen, we go to the pump section, we select A, B, or A and B. When these are initiated, we open the recirculation valves. A open, B open, and we initiate the program. And slowly wind up the pressure in order to let the machine do its recirculation work. And you can hear the pumps running on the background. We leave this recirculating for about 20 minutes. And then the product is sufficiently warmed up in order to do its spray job. So the system has been in recirculation mode for about 20 minutes and the product is sufficiently warmed up. This basically means that it's ready to go in spray mode. In order to get the machine in spray mode, we first depressurize the lines by twisting the knob, and you can hear the pump stopping. Then we shut down the program and we close the recirculation valve. So after the recirculation mode, the product is sufficiently warmed up and it's good to go to spray mode. But before we go to spray mode, we need to open up the valves in order to get the product to the mixing block. Both products have its own valve. They are both open now, so we can go back to the computer in order to set the machine for spray mode. Now the machine is ready for spray mode, but for the first spraying sessions, the whip end also needs to be filled with product. This is the piece of line after the mixing block. The machine can't really recognize what kind of product is in there, because for the flushing we use solvent, and that is a different viscosity than the filler itself. So this will basically always offset the pumps a little bit, and you need to treat it with a little care in order to raise its pressure. So now we go to the operation screen and we go to spray mode. We press the spray gun, we press the green button, and we build up the pressure. And we let it settle for a while before we hear the pump getting in action. There he goes. And he's sending product through the lines. Now we slowly wind up the pressure. And here you go. Here we got an error. It says Papa 5 Alpha Zulu. There is an easy menu at this side, which is basically telling us that this is the pressure, calibration, material A for the system. Well, this is a fault code because the machine can't detect what kind of material is in the pressure in the whip end. So when product is purged through the lines and the gun itself, we connect the tip, which is basically just a regular airless spray gun tip. It's spraying, so that means we're going to stop spraying and then we depressurize the system first and then we stop the program. We open the recirculation valves again. We initiate the program and give it a little pressure. So we finished spraying, we have flushed the last piece of whip line, and we let the solvent which is in the lines now soak in for at least 5 minutes. After that we will flush it again, we depressurize the system, and then we show you how clean the spiral mixer is. Now if we go back to the panels that have just been sprayed. Here you see a close-up, and it's good to keep in mind that with 1 liter of product you can fill 1 square millimeter at a depth of 1 millimeter. And if you keep this in mind, it will give you a rough idea of what you are doing. We finished spraying, the lines are depressurized, and we're getting ready to flush the system. This means we close the product valves, and now we open up the solvent valves. When these lines are open, we go back to the machine and we give the solvent pump, the small independent pump running in the back, some power in order to pump solvent through the lines, which injects in the mixing block and clear out the complete whip. So, the mixing block is already ready in order to flush the solvent. So, we bring air to the small independent pump which is running in the back, and we give it a little pressure. And there he goes. It's pumping solvent to the spray gun and the whip end in order to flush that. Let's have a look. Now that the first piece of whip line is free from the spiral mixer, we open it up. And in here you can see the spiral mixer itself. Let's get it out. Beautifully clean spiral mixer. Besides the slightly bigger reference panel with Awlfair Spray Filler, we have also created a smaller reference panel with multiple layers of Awlfair Spray Filler. Now, if we look at a cut through of this panel, we can clearly see one of the main benefits for Awlfair Spray Filler. The section is completely free from air pockets, and this is saving you loads of time on repairing the air pockets. We hope you enjoyed watching our virtual demo for Awlfair Spray Filler. If you need any additional information, please feel free to reach out to your local sales representative or visit our website www.awlgrip.com.